Hello guys, Mr. Kempin is back, and today I want to talk to you about positivity. Recently I was having a conversation with some students in an art cover lesson, and it got me thinking about positive outlooks and the barriers that not having one can cause. I started thinking about this issue after a student insisted she couldn't draw, and then went on to produce this piece of work. I'm going to display it up here on the screen. I know, if that cannot draw, then I feel very inadequate. The reason I've shown this will become evident later on. I want to discuss positive thinking here and how we can try to employ it in our lives, but before I do that, I need to make sure that one thing is clear. I am not saying you can just be positive and decide to be positive and everything's going to turn out sunshine and rainbows. Not at all. This is a misconception that some people have, and I want to lay it to rest right at the start. Just because you say you're being positive doesn't mean you are being positive, and it doesn't automatically mean you're going to succeed at everything you do. We'll come to success later on. Now, you may start seeing some similarities in this video to the one I've done on resilience, and that's because there are similarities in this, but they are slightly different, and this does deserve a separate video on its own. If you haven't seen that video on resilience, when you get some time, give it a watch. Please do, it's worth a watch. So, what is positive thinking really? Well, it's actually related to just having a positive outlook and being aware of your current limitations. I cannot emphasize that word current enough there. The inclusion of that word signifies that it's a positive outlook, as we're going to see in a moment. The language you use will have a dramatic impact on your outlook. Saying I cannot do that is not knowing your limitations unless you've tried at your very, very best at it. It's deciding you cannot do that. And that gets you nowhere. I've never performed open heart surgery. I can say with absolute certainty, I am not qualified to do it. But can I do it? I have no idea. I've never tried it. I doubt I'd be very good at it without practice and a lot of training. But can I do it? I don't know. And that's the point. The language I used there influenced my outlook on it. I said, I don't know. I have never. Not I cannot. Because they are very different things. So back to limitations. How do you find your limitations? Well, you have to test yourself. You have to try. And genuinely try at that. If you assume you cannot do it, then guess what? You've decided you cannot do it. That's the end of it. It's very defeatist, and it creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. You've decided you can't do it, therefore you cannot do it. End of. All it will do is limit you. Again, I'm not saying that just because you try, you'll be the best at something, but you may be able to do something you couldn't before. And with enough practice, you may actually be good at it. So how can you be positive? Well, you have to be realistic about what's achievable in any given time frame. And importantly, how you measure success. If you expect to perfect a skill or ability instantly, then you're not being realistic. As anything that is worth doing takes time and practice. I think I've said that in another video somewhere. It's also how you are measuring your levels of success. If you want to be the best at something, then you have to set yourself manageable goals and targets to get there. Again, I have a video on goals and target setting. Again, if you get time, give that a watch. It is quite relevant to this. But most of us will measure success differently. But it's about having realistic expectations of what we want to achieve and to keep trying till we get there. The best way to be positive about this is to understand that you will not succeed at everything you do, and that is okay. It really is. It's okay not to be perfect first time at something. It's actually okay not to be the best, as long as you're trying your best, because then you're the best that you can be, which is all anyone can be. Now, I know that sounds really easy, but it is actually manageable. In fact, you were all doing it until you learned that you didn't like failing. As a parent, I see this with my 2-year-old daughter all the time. Even today, she wanted to walk along my legs from the footstool to me. She held my hands, she tried, and she fell off. Did she see this as failure? No. No, she didn't. Because she doesn't know what failure is. She laughed and said, well, that didn't work. And then climbed back up into the footstool and tried again. And this continued for about 10 minutes until she was doing it most of the time. She was positive about it because she didn't know how to be negative yet. And I really wanted to stay that way. And as a parent, I asked myself, how can I help her stay that way? The only thing I can do is just keep reassuring her that while she's learning and practicing, it is learning and practicing. And if she doesn't get it, I just remind her that, okay, we'll keep trying and we'll keep practicing until we do get better at it. We all know that phrase, if at first you don't succeed, try again. So why did I show you that student's piece of work at the start? Well, after talking to her, I found out that she regularly draws in her spare time and that she enjoys doing it. So it sounded defeatist that she said she wasn't very good at it, but it was more to do with that she wasn't confident in her abilities. But she's been practicing anyway. And she was able to achieve more in that time frame than I think I could have done, and to a better quality. It was really good work. She is being positive. She tried and tried and tried and was able to do what other people can't. Now, you cannot get there overnight. It is a journey and you will have days where you struggle. But with some self-reflection and remembering that if you fail, it is rarely the end of the world, anyone can have some form of positivity. So I hope you found this a little bit helpful, and I hope you can try and be a little bit more positive. You never know what might happen. Okay, guys. Good luck.